I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Pratt?
Here.
Mrs. Bird?
Here.
Mrs. Powers?
Here.
Dr. Marion?
Here.
Mr. George?
Here.
Mr. Christopher?
Here.
Mr. Holmes?
He was on there. I heard him.
There you go.
All right, perfect. All right, I need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented in front of you.
Motion.
Mr. Pratt, second. Mr. George, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Sorry, I'm on financial reports. Is that where we're on? Sorry, I really should have brought my glasses. Sorry, guys. All right, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Kat? Sorry, Ms. Bird. Second, Mr. Pratt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now, financial reports, please.
Good evening, members of the board. I bring the financial reports this go around instead of last week. Direct your attention to the monthly financial summary. Fund balances for May totaled $168,432,195.42. Of that balance, $15.8 million was reserved for debt service, $45.9 million was reserved for capital projects. It's up from the prior month. You may recall that we sold that extra $20 million. Plus, there was a premium on top of that. $7.4 million was reserved for food service, $3.1 million was reserved for student activities, leaving $96.2 million for operations. And as shown on the investment schedule, $147 million was invested at the end of the month. Monthly revenues for May totaled $56,357,751.33. The district received $5.3 million from local sources, $14.3 million from state, and $657,000 from federal. Along with that $36.1 million, which is from non-current sources. There was a refunding that happened as part of the $20 million sale. Compared to last month, local revenues are up by $1.1 million, state up by $573. Federal revenues are actually down by $409, and then of course non-current was up by the $36.1. The increase in local is primarily due to interest earnings and food service a la carte sales. Interest earnings continues to stay strong, and we've got as much money invested as far as we can to try and take advantage of that. 5.2 to 5.4 range is kind of where we're seeing right now on our returns. State revenues are up more from early childhood special education revenue, and we had a one-time safety grant. You may recall, I think it was around $300,000 that we took advantage of, put some security film and upgraded some cameras at some of our buildings. So federal revenues are down it's mainly timing. I'm not seeing there's not any main changes in the core federal revenues. It's just right now, it's just really based on when we submitted for payment requests for this year versus last year. Like it says here, we submitted a request. This year wasn't submitted till June, but last year we submitted one in May. And finally, non-current is up to $31.6 million from the new and refunding bonds. When we look at year-to-date, revenues are up by $57.8 million. Again, this is skewed because of the bond sale, but local revenues are up by $20.5 million, led by $13 million more in local property taxes, $4.9 million more in interest earnings, and $2 million more in Prop C sales tax. At the state level, transportation has increased by $1 million to date, and then high needs funding also increased by $718,000. Of course, both of those are based on prior year expenses, so as expenses go up, so do reimbursements, as long as the state appropriates the funds and the money's there to pay us. So, as far as other revenues, they're down by $1 million so far. This is mainly due to lunch and breakfast funding. They had an inflated per meal. We also have sold a little bit less in reimbursable meals this year. Not sure if that's just, but a la carte sales are up, so those kids buying, the other stuff versus a reimbursable meal, that'll happen sometimes. So, and as I noted above, then the largest change in variance is due to the new and refunding bonds. Monthly expenses for May totaled $51,423,912.90. For the month, the district spent $19.2 million on salaries and benefits, $2.2 million on purchase services, $1.7 million on supplies, and $4.5 million on capital and construction, along with $23.9 million on that debt refunding. Compared to last year, expenses are up by 62.5. Again, that is skewed. 10.9 million of that increase is related to salaries and benefits, and that's in line with where we should be based on staffing changes, changes in wages, changes in benefits. Purchase service expenses are also up by 1.8 million. We are still seeing a large increase in our contracted transportation. We're still having a hard time filling some of those vacancies that we have. It seems like we hire one or two and get them trained and on the road, and we lose a couple, so it's just a never-ending battle right now. Hopefully we'll be able to do something and shore that up in the near future, because our contract transportation, as that number grows, it's just, I think we can do it cheaper if we can get the people in the door and get them trained, but we just need to take a look at that and see what's best. Also, our property casualty was up. I know we talked about that once before. I think it's close to probably a 20% increase when that was a big hit that we were unexpected. Also, we've been spending a lot more on professional development, which is a good thing, and then we have a new student data system coming in, and we expanded the Leader in Me program this year to go district-wide as well. Supply costs are up 3.3 million, and we spent a lot on computers and Chromebooks, which we had been least purchasing, but we just bought them all outright this year because the interest costs are, as rates are going up, it would cost us more to do that in the long run. So it's the right time to do it. Capital spending is up by 21.5 million this year, and as you guys know, we have quite a few high dollar capital projects going on throughout the district that are progressing. So, and then lastly, that 23.9 million we refunded, and it hits expenses, even though it really inflates it. So, any questions about operating? Monthly financial reports.
All right, if not, I need a motion to approve the financial reports as presented. Mr. Christopher, second. Ms. Byrd, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? New business?
One item under old business is adoption of the 2024-2025, that's okay, district budget. Jeff reviewed this last week, and so I had an opportunity for folks to ask questions. Jeff, if you want to go from there.
Sure. I'm not sure how much you want to go back through the numbers again. I did improve our surplus a little bit. There were some areas I was telling you guys I was still working with the departments to see if we could cut a little bit more in certain areas. Not that we might not have to add it back, but it just seemed like some of their increases seemed a little high. So I was able to get it, I think it was 600 and some thousand. Last week when we met, I got right now I've got the operating surplus up to about 1.5 million, which puts us at about 63.7-ish on a fund balance, or 25%. We're still in really good financial shape. Other than that, I didn't really change a whole lot in between last week and this week. I'm not sure if you have any questions. I just want to point out too, I didn't really talk much about it last week. This is a budget, so it's just a big estimate, but we usually underspend probably at least $1 million. So while this is showing $1.5 million surplus, it'll probably end up being better than that. So, but I don't know if anybody saw anything or had any questions about, or if you want me to go over or through anything, I can go into much greater detail. But like I said, we kind of went through it last week, and there hasn't been any major changes.
You mentioned capital projects earlier, and I don't know, maybe this is more of a question for Ms. Kester, but I was wondering, where are we on the natatorium?
So I can speak a little bit to, actually Paul can probably speak to that too if he wants to. I just know that they're still in the planning phase of that right now.
Yeah, basically kind of a two-part answer. One is that if all goes according to plan, we need to land the transportation center first, because the intention is to use existing property. That's one of those good areas of kind of saving some taxpayer funds by landing it there. We have done, I think in total, off the top of my head, 4 preliminary planning meetings with them. The design firm that we use, Gordon & Clark, has has a person on their staff who has worked with natatorium development in the past. So we've met with them, we've done some preliminary site investigations, and then probably, if this all unfolds the way we're looking, we'll scale that up in the fall in terms of design, go out in more involved studies and kind of see what we like and don't like. But probably the first part is getting that transportation center moving forward, and then that'll pick up in earnest for 24, 25.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'm gonna save them all for Brian next month.
All right.
Let's break them in.
Baptism by fire.
Just don't break him.
Pat, I need a motion to approve the 2024-25 district budget as presented. Dr. Marion, second. Mr. Christopher, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Now new business.
All right. First item under new business is we had a successful negotiation with our parent educator group. We have some representatives here tonight. Very good group to work with and very fast and efficient negotiation. This is language, not anything related to salary. Henry's going to walk through the details of the process. But again, just like to express, we have a really good working relationship with our NEA representatives, and this was a very productive outcome. Henry, if you want to.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Myers. Good evening, members of the board. You've had a memo from me which outlines some of the changes all the changes that we agreed to during the negotiations process. This puts a bow on negotiation season now, once we bring this to you. So grateful for the cooperation with the FZEA to have good, meaningful discussions throughout the year. With our parents as teachers, our parent educators, as they may also be known, just kind of some changes in language that are still under the vein of recruitment and retention. Experience credit, expanding that experience credit brought in for new hires coming in from outside the district, and then some tweaks, very subtle, but adjusting expense reimbursements, increasing that denomination has not been touched in quite some time, and graduate hour reimbursement. And then just some language tweaks to bring our agreement in line with our current practice and standards. So that would be a 3-year agreement, as Dr. Myers said, and I would recommend that you approve that language so that we can get to work on writing the actual document up, and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? All right, if not, any motion to approve the parent educator agreement for 24 through 2027 as presented. Mr. Pratt, second. Ms. Byrd, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you. Okay, the next item, Eileen Brisningham from our benefits department is here to go over our insurance renewal recommendation. Eileen, are you going to go whole memo and then one approval on individual items?
That would be fine. Yeah,
Okay.
go the whole memo first, yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Good evening, members of the board. All right, so in your packet, you'll have the memo from me in regards to the insurance updates and everything for the year. I'll go through each one of them real quick and then kind of get the approval at the end. So with this last year, with our Aetna Medical, this is for both our staff as well as our bus drivers, the market as well as just our usage has been a little rough. So there are some changes that we're going to need to make to the rates as well as a plan design change as well. The rates that are listed there, the current rates, we are going to need to increase the employee rate up to from $750 up to $800, and that is the rate that the district pays for the staff. The employee spouses, child, and family tiers are 100% paid by the employees. They will also see a slight increase as well as listed there, as well as a plan change. We are going to need to increase the co-pays. So this is what all of our employees or members pay when they go, just the co-pay for the doctor, for doctors, specialists, as well as chiropractic. The increase is going to be $5. So I have it listed out where the primary chiropractic and specialists are going to bump up a little bit. That is to kind of mirror market trends as well as to help our reserve build back up and everything. The administrative fee as well as the stop loss fee, we both had a 0% increase. Aetna was able to come back to us with 0%.
for the admin fee for 3 years, as well as then the stop-loss fee for 1 year. So we will not see any increases to the district's administrative fees to like rent the network and to have Aetna backing us should employees hit a certain level of usage. It kind of helps us to refrain from spending too much money. We stop at $350,000 per member. So if an employee or a member hits that amount in fees, then Aetna comes in and starts paying for us. That's the stop loss. The Zoom Care, the agreement that was back in 2021, we're going through that. So we're going to have a slight increase to the per member per month cost there from the $13.21 to $13.34. The staff dental, we're entering our second year of our agreement, so there's no increases and no changes needed there. The bus drivers and monitors, we were up for renewal this year, and Delta offered a 0% increase and another rate hold for 1 whole year again for them as well. The staff and bus vision through VBA, we're in our second year there, and so we're going to have a rate hold there, and we'll be up for renewal next year. Same with our Sun Life Financial. This is our life insurance for both groups of employees. There's no increase or anything. We're in our second year of that 2-year agreement. And then just an update on the Kansas City Life, the Employee Assistant Program, which we incorporated about 2 years ago. The cost is staying consistent, and it's about $350 a month for the district to pay for our entire staff and their families to have the coverage. It's based off our enrollment of short-term disability, so that's why the cost is extremely low. So there are a couple of the items that do need board approval. So the Aetna approval for the rate increase as well as the cost per copay would be the first one.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the insurance renewal for Aetna Choice for staff and bus as presented. Mr. George, second Dr. Marion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Then it would be the administrative fee.
Next, I need a motion to approve the insurance renewal recommendation for the administrative fee as presented. Mr. Christopher, second. Ms. Bird, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Third, stop loss?
Stop loss, yep.
I need a motion to approve the insurance renewal for the stop loss fee as presented. Mr. Pratt, second. Ms. Bird, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
And then the bus drivers only, bus drivers dental.
Okay. And then I need a motion to approve the renewal recommendation for the bus driver monitor dental. Mr. George, second. Mr. Christopher, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you guys very much, appreciate it.
Thanks for your hard work.
All right. And that is all we have this evening, so I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Mr. Pratt, second. Dr. Marion, all in favor, say aye.